Have you noticed how Sarah Jessica Parker shined much more in And Just Like That than in Sex and the City? She had charisma in the 90s, of course, but in her early 50s, she has something different, something powerful. It's not a coincidence. It's a superpower that all of us gain after 40, and that no 20-year-old can buy, not even with all the credit cards in the world. Subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications, and leave your like if you want to transform your elegance into something profitable for your life. I'm Carol from Lucrative Elegance, and I'm going to tell you something that completely changed my life. When I was in my 20s, I spent endless hours trying to fit into standards that didn't even make sense for me. I spent fortunes on pieces that promised to transform me into that sophisticated woman from the magazines. The result? An expensive wardrobe full of clothes that had nothing to do with me. But then, something happened. It wasn't overnight, it was a process. Like that moment when you try on a piece of clothing and suddenly realize, this is me. It happened first with a navy blue dress that I bought without great expectations. It didn't follow any specific trend, but when I wore it, it was magical. It was as if that piece had been created especially for me, not just for my body, but for my personality. It was different from everything I had experienced in my 20s, when every purchase was a desperate attempt to fit in somewhere I didn't belong. You know that feeling, don't you? That anguish of always chasing something that seems impossible to achieve. Do you know what it's like to stand in front of a closet full of clothes and feel like you have nothing to wear? This happened to me every day. I constantly compared myself to 20-year-old models, with bodies and lives completely different from mine. And guess what? It was a battle I would never win. Then came the day when I looked at myself and thought, why am I trying to be someone I'm not? That's when I discovered the superpower that all of us develop after 40. Are you ready to know what it is? It's self-knowledge, my dear. Genuine and deep self-knowledge. Think about Viola Davis. She started her career early, but it was after 40 that she became the powerhouse we know today. Why? Because she embraced who she really is. In an interview, she said something that changed my perspective. Freedom comes when you decide to be true to yourself. It's no coincidence that so many women flourish after 40. It's when we stop asking for permission to exist and start occupying our space with confidence. It's when we understand that we don't need anyone's approval to be who we are. Self-knowledge is what allows you to choose clothes that really match you, not the version you think you should be. It's what makes you understand that those ultra-tight skinny jeans don't need to be part of your life anymore if they make you uncomfortable. It's what gives you permission to wear that vibrant red dress that in your 20s you thought was too flashy. A Gallup Institute survey showed that women over 40 are more likely to make choices based on personal preferences rather than social pressure. This explains why many of us finally find our style at this stage of life. Last week, a follower wrote to me, Carol, after watching your videos, I threw away all the tight skirts that made me feel bad. I bought 3 midi dresses that make me feel elegant and comfortable. For the first time, I feel well-dressed. That, my dear, is the superpower in action. But this superpower didn't come for free, did it? It was conquered through experiences, disappointments, successes, and especially mistakes. How many times have you bought that trendy item only to use it once and leave it forgotten at the back of the wardrobe? I've lost count. I remember when I bought those ultra low-rise pants in the 2000s because all the celebrities wore them. I hated them. I was constantly pulling my shirt down, feeling exposed, uncomfortable. But I wore them for years because I thought that's what I should do. What a waste of time, isn't it? Remember that movie, The Curious Case of Benjamin Button? Kate Blanchett's character only reaches her peak as a ballerina, when she has enough maturity to understand her body and movements. It's exactly like that with our personal style. At 20, we spend infinite energy trying to be what we're not. At 40, we finally discover who we really are. And that's liberating. And I'm not just talking about clothes. This superpower extends to every aspect of your life. It's what makes you say no to that dinner you don't feel like going to, without feeling guilty. It's what gives you the courage to wear red lipstick in the middle of the afternoon just because you want to. It's what allows you to appreciate your body exactly as it is, with all its curves, marks, and stories. Have you ever stopped to think about how many hours of your life you wasted trying to hide your imperfections? I have. I spent years hiding my thighs because I thought they were too big. Years wearing jackets in summer because I thought my arms were bulky. How crazy! Today, I wear sleeveless dresses when it's hot and shorts when I feel like it, because I understood that my body is not a problem to be solved. It's just the place where my soul lives. Recently, I read a Stanford University study that revealed something fascinating. Women over 40 are significantly more decisive in their consumer choices than younger women. Do you know what that means? That we've stopped wasting time on what doesn't matter. A follower told me that turning 40 was like getting a new pair of glasses. Suddenly, I can clearly see what works for me and what doesn't. I save time, money, and most importantly, frustration. Think about Jennifer Aniston. In the 90s, everyone wanted to copy the Rachel cut. Today, in her 50s, she has developed such a personal style that it's unmistakable. It's not about following trends. It's about creating your own rules. Have you noticed how some women look exactly the same in all photos, no matter the year, while others change drastically each season? Generally, those who maintain consistency are those who have already discovered their personal style, their signature look. It's like Carolina Herrera with her impeccable white shirts, or Diane Keaton with her androgynous suits. They don't follow trends, they are the trend. And you know what's even more incredible about this superpower? The more you use it, the stronger it gets. It's like a muscle that develops with exercise. Each time you choose something that really suits you, instead of blindly following what's in fashion, you strengthen your self-knowledge. When I was 25, I thought I needed to wear high heels every day to look sophisticated. Result? Destroyed feet and terrible posture. Today, at 39, I know that elegance has much more to do with how you carry yourself than with the height of your heel. Have you watched those Who Wore It Better videos on social media? Two women with the same outfit, but one looks uncomfortable and the other looks radiant. The difference? The second is wearing something that resonates with who she is. It's not the clothes that make the woman, it's the woman who brings the clothes to life. As writer Diane von Furstenberg says, "The greatest luxury is to be who you really are." And isn't that what we're all looking for? The freedom to be authentic? The other day, I was watching a documentary about Meryl Streep. Did you know she only started receiving the most important roles of her career after 40? Before that, she was considered too pretty to be taken seriously, or not pretty enough to be the lead. But she persisted, knew her worth, and today is considered one of the greatest actresses of all time. The fashion industry wants us to believe that aging is something to be fought. But I ask you, what if aging is actually the path to true elegance? That which comes from within that cannot be bought or sold? Have you noticed how mature women have a different presence? It's that look that says, "I know who I am and I'm okay with that." It's that posture that doesn't apologize for taking up space. It's that confidence that only comes with time. I remember when I was 20 and lived in constant comparison with other women. It was exhausting. Today, I observe an elegant woman on the street and think, how beautiful the way she expresses herself through what she wears. There's no more competition, just admiration. The world tries to convince us that youth is power, but I say that self-knowledge is power. It's what allows you to choose quality over quantity, meaning over status, comfort over trend. In fashion, this translates into a well-thought-out capsule wardrobe, instead of a closet crammed with pieces you barely use. In decoration, it means a house that reflects who you are, not what's in the latest edition of Architectural Digest. In relationships, it represents genuine connections, not networks of superficial contacts. That's why I created my ebook, Be Elegant While Traveling, Global Etiquette for the Sophisticated Traveler. Because traveling is one of the best ways to exercise this superpower. Away from your comfort zone, you have the opportunity to rediscover yourself. The link is in the first pinned comment of this video. If you want to be an elegant and sophisticated traveler, you can't miss it. Have you ever found yourself buying souvenirs you never used or typical clothes from a place that were later forgotten in the closet? I have, until I realized that I didn't need to buy a kimono in Japan just because everyone was buying one. What I really wanted was a tea set that matched my personality and lifestyle. It was something I would actually use, and that would bring me joy every time I looked at it. I talked about how this superpower transforms your wardrobe, but what about your home? Have you noticed how the most welcoming homes are not necessarily the most expensive ones, but rather those that reflect the personality of who lives in them? An elegant house is not one that looks like it came out of a magazine. It's one where you feel at home. It seems obvious, but how many of us have fallen into the trap of decorating to impress others, not to make ourselves feel good? Before 40, we decorate to impress others. After 40, we decorate to feel good. And guess which result is more beautiful? One of my favorite series, Grace and Frankie, shows exactly that. Two women who, in maturity, finally create homes that reflect who they really are. and not what society expects of them. Grace with her impeccable and sophisticated style, and Frankie with her bohemian and artistic way. Two completely different women, but equally authentic. And isn't that what makes the series so captivating? Seeing two mature women fully living their truths? It's like that Madonna song, True Blue. She says, "No more sadness, I kiss it goodbye." That's exactly what we do when we embrace our superpower. We say goodbye to the sadness of trying to be someone we're not. Have you noticed how some trends come back every few years? In the 90s, it was low-rise jeans. Then came high-waisted ones. Now we're going back to low-rise. It's an endless cycle. If you try to follow all the trends, you'll end up exhausted and broke. At 20, I had a packed closet and nothing to wear. At 39, I have fewer pieces, but each one makes me feel amazing. It's not about quantity, it's about connection. And you know what's most liberating? Being able to say, "This is not for me," without feeling like you're missing out. When a new trend emerges, I ask myself, does this suit me, my lifestyle, my personality? If the answer is no, I simply pass. No guilt, no FOMO, fear of missing out. Why did we waste so much time trying to fit into others' standards? Because we weren't taught to value our own judgment. We were taught to seek external validation. But after 40, something magical happens. We start trusting ourselves. Think of the most elegant women you know. I bet they have something in common: authenticity. They're not necessarily the prettiest by conventional standards, nor those who wear the most expensive clothes. They're those who seem comfortable in their own skin, who have a presence that goes beyond physical appearance. Recently, I met a friend I hadn't seen in years. She looked at me and said, "Carol, you look younger than when you were 30. Do you know what my secret was? It wasn't expensive creams or aesthetic procedures. It was simply stopping fighting against who I really am." The irony is that when we stop obsessively pursuing youth, that's when we look younger, because there's nothing that ages more than the visible effort to look younger. It's that story of less is more. In the Bible, there's a passage that says, "The truth will set you free." That phrase has never made more sense to me than now. The truth about who you are, about what works for you, about what makes you feel good, that's the true liberation. Have you ever experienced that feeling of relief when you finally admit to yourself something you were trying to deny? When I finally accepted that I wasn't born to wear low-rise pants, it was like taking a weight off my shoulders, literally. And make no mistake, this superpower is not about conformism or giving up. On the contrary, it's about directing your energy to what really matters. It's about creating a style that works for you, not against you. When I was 30, I lost an important job interview because I was so worried about my appearance that I couldn't focus on the questions. I was wearing a suit that made me uncomfortable because I thought I needed to look serious. Today, I know that confidence is the most elegant outfit you can wear. Have you noticed how some people enter a room and immediately attract all eyes? It's not because they're the most beautiful or the best dressed. It's because they're the most authentic. It's because they radiate that confidence that only comes when you're at peace with yourself. This confidence doesn't go unnoticed. Others feel it. Nonverbal communication studies show that we interpret about 55% of the message through body language. And there's nothing that improves your body language more than wearing something that makes you feel good about yourself. A former colleague of mine from the corporate world always stood out in meetings. Not because she was the tallest or the prettiest or the smartest, but because she had this magnetic quality that only comes when you're comfortable in your own skin. She wore vibrant colors when all of us wore black, had a unique style that was elegant without being obvious. When I asked her secret, she told me, "One day I realized I was wasting energy trying to fit in, so I decided to use that energy to shine in my own way." And the most incredible thing is that this superpower affects all areas of your life. Your friendships become deeper because you no longer waste time with superficial relationships. Your career advances because you focus on what really matters. Even your romantic relationship transforms because you're no longer trying to be the perfect woman. You're simply being you. Have you noticed how liberating it is to say no to an invitation when you really don't want to go? Or how invigorating it is to abandon a book in the middle because you're not enjoying it? Without that guilt of, "I need to finish what I started," that's your superpower in action. A recent study from the University of Michigan showed that women over 40 report higher levels of life satisfaction than younger women. Coincidence? I don't think so. The research revealed that after 40, women experience a significant reduction in levels of social anxiety. They care less about judgments and more about what really makes them happy. It's as if we finally received permission to be ourselves, except that permission was always there, waiting for us to recognize it. I remember a scene from the movie Bridget Jones's Diary, when she finally realizes she doesn't need to change to be loved. This is the turning point for all of us, when we understand that we don't need to mold ourselves to fit into spaces that others have created for us. Once a famous stylist told me something I never forgot. Elegance is not about how much you spend, but how much you recognize yourself in what you wear. What a powerful phrase, isn't it? Recognizing yourself in what you wear. It's not about trends, brands, or prices. It's about identity. If you're watching this video and haven't reached 40 yet, don't worry. You can start cultivating this superpower right now. Start by asking yourself, what do I really like? What makes me feel good? Write down the answers and compare them with what you have in your closet. Is there a disconnect? That's the first step to change. Try this exercise. Take 5 pieces from your wardrobe that you truly love and analyze what they have in common. Is it the color, the fabric, the fit, the style? You'll start to identify patterns that reveal your true personal taste, not the one that magazines or social media try to impose on you. And if you're already past 40 and still not using your superpower to its full potential, it's never too late to start. As Coco Chanel says, you can be wonderful at any age. A 65-year-old follower recently wrote to me, Carol, I spent 40 years wearing navy blue because I thought it was appropriate. After watching your videos, I bought my first red dress. My husband said he never saw me so radiant. It's never too late to discover who you really are. At 20, we value what others think. At 40, we value what we ourselves think. It's a subtle change, but one that transforms everything. This change is reflected in the choices we make every day, in the food we eat because we really like it, not because it's in the fashionable diet, in the books we read because they interest us, not because they're on the bestseller list, in the friendships we cultivate because they bring us joy, not social status. When you embrace your superpower, something magical happens. You become magnetic. People are naturally attracted to those who are authentic. That's why women like Julia Roberts, Viola Davis, and Michelle Obama are so admired. They exude authenticity. A Harvard University study on social perception revealed that we consider more trustworthy people who demonstrate coherence between their appearance, behavior, and values. In other words, authenticity generates trust, and trust is the foundation of any meaningful relationship, whether professional, personal, or romantic. Remember, elegance is not perfection. Elegance is authenticity with refinement. And that, my dear, only comes with time. It's like wine. It gets better with age. Experiences shape us. Disappointments teach us. Achievements strengthen us. Each chapter of our story contributes to this superpower we call self-knowledge. Therefore, instead of fearing each new wrinkle, celebrate it. Each mark on your face is a reminder of the superpower you've conquered over the years. A fashion designer once told me that she designs clothes thinking of real women, not mannequins. Beauty is in imperfection, she said. A face that has lived, a body that has given birth, hands that have worked. That is truly beautiful. There's a wonderful French word, aplomb. It means confidence, security, balance. That's exactly what we gain after 40, an unshakable sense of who we are. It's like that scene from Under the Tuscan Sun, when the protagonist finally feels at home in her new life. Not because everything is perfect. On the contrary, everything is a mess, but because she's finally at peace with who she is. So, the next time someone says that youth is everything, smile politely and think to yourself, darling, you have no idea what's coming. And for those who have already discovered this superpower, let's celebrate it together. Let's stop hiding our age, apologizing for our choices, diminishing ourselves so as not to bother others. If this video helped you recognize your superpower, leave your like, share it with a friend who needs to hear this, and subscribe to the channel for more content like this. And don't forget to check out my ebook, Be Elegant While Traveling. The link is in the first pinned comment. Remember, when you embrace who you really are, your elegance becomes a powerful force, and a profitable one, in your life. Your authenticity attracts opportunities aligned with your true values. Your confidence opens doors that previously seemed locked. Your unique style makes you stand out in a sea of imitations. Because at the end of the day, there's nothing more profitable than being truly yourself. Carol from Lucrative Elegance, reminding you that your elegance can and should be profitable for your life. Until the next video.